Sharon saying goodbye.
Getting over it for me after that. It just was, it's dark. You know,
Fellowship continues. It's kind of neat. Just to create these spaces to gather and commune and it's important. Even just to do them with different combinations of people for all kinds of reasons, right?
Mix up.
Yeah, mix up.
And we moved in together. You know, but enough connections.
right.
Having a B-block blues moment.
What does that mean? What do you mean? You mean like the movie or the book?
No, I don't know what. I guess for me they're conflated. I read the book so long ago, but I've seen the movie more recently.
No, one, I'm going to start right now. I'm going to give you part of what I think is
The blue collar.
I'm saying no more.
Well, you know, we're it's all a film.
That's so funny. I've been telling the story about the woman from Calgary with the afro and the yellow. And every time I tell the story, I'd say, "Oh, but it's on YouTube."
When you ask me my
I go and show them the
Oh
little
right,
clip.
because I documented that part.
So I was with Mummy's caregiver Angela on Friday. Went to see Mummy, and then I hang out with whatever. So I was telling her the story about this whole thing around.
But I know someone else can love me like that.
It's like just that conversation I had with this woman. And then they brought these kids from Calgary to do this work, to do the show, and connect them to this culture, right? But then I told her that, but they're not going to the carnival. They're not going to the parade.
Parade, yeah.
Why they're going to the parade. And then Angela, who is born in Ghana, but raised in Botswana, said, they went to missionary schools. Yeah? That's a missionary. What kind of missionary? No, they were white missionaries from England or United States or wherever that would run these schools, but I guess they were, well-resourced schools, and so people would, whatever. And then she talked about how the kids did this, young people did this show, like a variety show. And she was being dropped home by either the minister and his wife and whatever. So she asked her, "What do you think of the show?" And then the minister made these kind of remarks to say that, people are saying they're doing these things to praise God, but it's really not whatever. And then he said, "Oh, the girls might have well have just taken out their things and did this."
Love is in abundance. I know that.
I was like, okay, that's where his mind is. And she also told me that they had an assembly once that was focused around clapping. And so clearly the students, these black students, needed to be taught how to clap.
Yeah.
What was appropriate, what was a clap to praise the Lord, and what was a clap that was leading on the other side.
Yeah.
So, she said, well, we're African, so, they're clap, but they were like doing this whole, but they were told that was wrong.
It's the devil.
The devil.
Yeah.
And so then we made this whole connection between the drum and Africa and all those times, Christianity and this which is a white supremacist religion, has been used to silence, because they know the power of the drum. They know the power of our movements.
Yeah.
So that black woman who was afraid of what her children would see at the parade, these movements come from our ancestors, right? And then Angela, who's very whatever, says, but these movements also, she said this region is a region of your creativity.
Yes.
Weird.
No, but yeah.
So when they're denying you or shutting down those kinds of movements and taking the drum away from you, they're doing it for us because they recognize, even if it's just on an instinctual level, that these are things that give us power.
And Courtney, it is all this critique, and even for us as black people, reflecting on and decrying what carnival has become and the nakedness and whatever, it's so fucking colonial. It's exactly what those colonizers came up on, and then made us start to feel is wrong and bad.
Plantation was the one to shut it down.
And then this whole idea that oh, and why? Because it's sexual. Well, but I think that is our problem, is that we have de-sexed so much that we need to sex, because it's a key part of how we live in the world. And lots of the issues of sexual reproductive unwellness, sexual unwellness, is because we don't have spaces to engage. And who's surprised that, of course, it explodes?
Because there's shame and there's silence.
As Michelle said about Carnival, it's really about that going back to the heart and root of who we are. And one part of who we are is sexual beings.
Yeah. And who we are African descended beings. Right?
Exactly, where sex was not as made to be a shameful thing or a horrible thing. And that's why I went to your pelvis, because as Angela's saying, it is there.
It's a source of our power and our creativity, especially as she started to do these movements.
But it's all that thing about when you go to Nine Night at the car, it goes back to the carnal nature of life producing, pleasure producing.
Yeah.
God forbid we should actually center things that gives us pleasure.
Yeah. But those people who want to control us recognize the power of those things. And so they knew their job number one was to take them away from us and to make us ashamed of it.
And miserable.
And, yeah. Anyway.
Thank you for that little TED talk. I love it.
Your belief, your internal. Or else you just, it's like people, well, I'm going to move here because it's going to be a better life for me. Now that you come at the same bitch, it's going to be the same life. Just with other motherfucking people in the cast. So get your shit together and then say, okay, you know what? I can stay here, or now that my shit's together, all these bitches are fucked up, I'm going to go here. But you're also desiring and attracting differently. But this idea of, I'm going to heal the relationship. Well, the relationship heal is the relationship itself. And a relationship with the ideology that you don't deserve.
Just to invite you guys in a combo, just talking about as like black men in the context of love. Heal to be ready for like loving relationships. And what does that look like? Specifically for black men. That's a big, I know, I hear you, Courtney, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, from the minute you say black men, in certain contexts, I see it being positioned as like kind of a monolith.
Well, but I think that I would say it's not a monolith in terms of black men, but it is a monolith in terms of, and I'll come from a U.S. perspective, but you don't live in the U.S. Or not a monolith. I would say it's an ideology about what black men deserve, don't deserve, should access, should not even be considering. So when our conversation went to, I said, well, for a black man to heal, he has to believe that he can be healed, it's necessary, it's his choice, he deserves it, worth, etc. And I will say that in most of the world, messaging to black men doesn't include that.
So what am I healed from? What are they healing from?
Well, and that's what I said.
From white supremacy, from patriarchy. Like, what am I healed from? From heterosexism? Like, what are
no, I didn't say all that, because I don't even get into all that stuff. Like, that's, I'm saying, I'm healing. I believe in you heal from the idea that you're not worthy. You heal from the idea you don't deserve. You heal from the idea that you only can have this much. So that's why I say you heal yourself, you heal the ideology. Like, I don't even, like, even...
And those ideologies come from a place.
Right, they do.
They come from a
But
place.
here's the thing, I think when people want to go to the place, they skip the jump. I think when you heal it, the place isn't necessary.
Because it just is.
Right, it is.
Where we are.
Right, it is. Right, like that's the place, I understand the place is there. The place is not applicable to me in my internal. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the world. It doesn't mean it doesn't impact. But what I internally believe about me has nothing to do with what the world does. Or else I wouldn't live the life that I live.
But I'm also curious when he says a monolith, what do you mean by that? In terms of, because I'm saying like, if you're a black straight man, black gay man, or black black character is like a level of healing, like to receive love from outside.
But I think sometimes the notion of black men doesn't include all men. It doesn't include the diversity of blackness.
Oh yeah.
But for the sake of this conversation, let's say it did include all this.
Actually, I start tomorrow.
I guess it's
I'm the
just
archivist. There's a documentary just got funded. Looking at the history of black queer artists and music and popular music, and so I'm doing the archive work.
So I went to a conference and presented. And
where?
I went to this conference and presented, and I loved it, and I wear it all the time.
Because I'm thinking that you're here on a mission, right?
No, all the time. I wear it all the time.
Like you're at a conference here and you're popped in, you're gonna pop back. You have a plenary to present at shortly.
All the time. Ain't that deep? All the time. I bought this from New York here all the time. And that's what OG said. He saw me in the hotel lobby. He said, "What are you doing?" All the time.
This way people know who you are and where you're from.
Music is just, and so the art is really like, I'm like out.
There's certain words I don't use.
What do you use for
healing.
for healing?
Oh yeah, they're
About
definitely
healing. Can we
saying,
talk about healing, Douglas?
and they're pushing against.
Well, I'm doing a lot of health and wellness things with organizations right now and staff teams now.
So so when I got to do, and that was
Well, I think I'm always thinking about that in terms of specificity around if it's black queer men we're talking about, or
I told people.
We'll talk about black men
and that's,
all of
you know, so the
the
other thing I always think,
I guess it's
right,
more.
well, you know,
I think-
and I grew up in a
Well, my brother kind of raises these things for us to nuance it, right? To think about when we say that, what are what's some starting point, or what are some assumptions inside that, right? Or what are some frames around what we're talking about that might mean that we miss stuff, right? Or that we recognize that when we say that, it's huge, right? And I think that's kind of what it's not so much that you can't say it, but it's a more, what are we, as you said, what are we saying? What do we mean, right? So you're really complicated in all the nuanced ways that it is, right? Because we are such a range, and I think sometimes the way the conversation has happened historically is it's been very narrow, right? One, it starts with assumptions about what kind of black man, what kind of history, what kind of identification, oftentimes what kind of sexuality, and even how that sexuality is contained. Because when we're talking about love, well, are we talking about, polyamorous, monog, like there are different ways in which it shows up and can present itself. So I think it's a reaction to the historic default, because we've been in rooms, like back in the day we went to, what's it, Young, Ebony, what is it called, Ebony Singles? We used to go to these sessions, which were very much heteronormative, very much this idea that, it's about finding that one that you settle down with in this very monogamous, very respectable politic kind of framed way, with ideas about what a woman's role is versus a man's role. So there's all kinds of constructions. So when we think about healing towards what would that look like? Because that healing could look so many different ways, right? Depending on, because some of the healing could be some of us to let go of the idea of monogamy, or to let go of the idea of heterosexual, compulsory heterosexuality, for example, or the idea of even marriage, as. And then the other thing that Courtney often provokes is the idea about if you're on your own, by yourself, are you broken, right? Because it's an idea that some people say your other half. But we're a whole, right? Even without that other person. So I guess it's all, when you're connected to love, I think it's about, maybe there's something else we're saying about, how are we as individuals getting well for ourselves and what is right for us? And how do we tap into that when we've grown up in a world that's so constructs ideas of who we are that we've all had to fight with, and even as we're trying to do that, because somebody being in therapy, I'm always confronting that, like, what is the question about myself I'm trying to answer?
I think the piece that you just said, which is like that.
You gotta talk about Roy Ayers. You've gotta talk about Billy Hutt. You've gotta talk about Millie Jackson.
I think I'm curious about what is the word
talking about women, black women in music.
And again,
there's a whole thing. So, that's what I'm saying, right? So that's why the sister, she was like, okay. You have to work this. I can't imagine doing this way by yourself.
And not needing,
because you just pull from you know, and then I like got all the good stories,
Outside love.
and I was like, well, help
Like,
this
this
kid
idea
to
of
be in the
finding home within
documentary
myself
because these
versus,
people
like,
not
finding home
out.
within another
But
person.
you know,
That's what's
even
coming
as
up for me.
our communities in music.
But I feel like
I
for
said,
black
you know,
men, it's
to
a
your
bit
point,
more
behind the
complicated.
scenes styling,
Because, again,
hair, costumes, choreography.
You know what? You like so? Am I hearing this? I think I want like I statements because sometimes people are really talking about themselves but kind of projecting outwards, and so you black man experience is probably might be very different than my black man experience.
You know.
So I'm interested in where you are, what you
I know,
what
that's
you're
what
thinking
I
of
was
for
like,
yourself.
yo.
What you're, so for
Oh
me,
my God,
that's a place to
the
start.
whole-
Rather than to talk about black men, talk about you. Say I. Like, what if...
To your point,
That's what I'm saying. Right.
the reverse question is why me black men, why I don't feel it.
No, when you sat
Why
there,
don't I feel it?
you
Why,
when you
what is the
said,
work I have to do to feel
yeah,
like
like
I
I'm
don't
in the
feel
part
it?
of the music because
As
so
opposed to what is the work
one
that
of
black
my
men have to do to feel
And it's whole, a place to ever get to.
and there's whole the place ever get
so the music in
And
the
whole
car,
in relationship to what?
and I always
What-
talk
what
about
defines
black men in
whole?
cars. Like black men in cars is bonded. Like
I
when
think
we
that's
get in
a
the
valid
car
reason.
together,
I think
it's
that-
on. We could park
For me,
and sit for
that's
hours and talk.
that's
So the
my personal
music
struggle
that
right now.
plays,
It's like,
and I mean, I lived through
you know what I'm
radios,
saying?
the 8-track,
And I
like
think-
the
and
all
that question was sort of
you know, the
like-
static, even the static of. I said, there's something visceral
get
when
advice
you
or get
put
tips.
an album on and
Or
you
what does
hear
that-
that
what did that look
scratch.
like?
But I want
You're
to
immediately like ready to go
black men.
somewhere. You
But
know,
about
like
looking
you're
at
ready to
what
go
it is that
somewhere.
we're talking about.
So, oh my God, no,
right?
we
So
can talk about
even
it.
to say,
Definitely.
even to, like we're questioning
Definitely.
this idea of
Even
wholeness.
like,
So
you
what it
know,
means to
I
be ready
used to
for
curate music
a
when
relationship,
DJ
what it
was
means to
with me. I'm
be,
like, yo, dude.
and what
I
love
need-
looks like,
'cause I was
right?
like, okay,
And so
wait a
I'm
minute,
you know,
I
so
got
every time
you.
when I hear
And
this
then
idea of
I
black
know-
love, I struggle
I have
because
friends who
I've seen
they're
black people in
think-
relationships with white people
I'm always like,
who are
oh,
being loved
I'm
and being
amateur.
in amazing
They
ways,
fucking
and I hear them say, but that's not black love.
I mean,
you know, the black part is not black love.
I
And I'm like,
I just
thought
be
black
like,
person still in love.
yeah, no,
You're
which
for
is
tenderized
so
because
good. That was the
ultimately,
beauty of.
in the face of the earth that we as black people sometimes get into really clarity around that. If it started with us,
I mean, not the voice.
everybody
the
all
views.
over the world
Yeah,
at
the
some
views,
point has
the
blackness
music.
in them,
That's
right?
because we
If we're looking at
have
modern day
a
identification,
plan
then the reality
that
too
we
is that
talk about the music
the way the
about.
world is evolving,
I'm
the ways
not
how
really
we moved around it,
don't start
it's
talking
unlikely that
about
all of us are going to end up with
like
somebody who's
falsetto and
so what does
this
that
and
mean then for
that?
those who are sitting around waiting
I mean,
and finding
but that ain't what
when
I'm
all kinds of
talking
people running
about.
around
I'm going to
clearly
talk about,
able
oh
to
my God, when
show
I was
up,
8 years
love us,
old,
care
and
for
I
us,
heard this
and
record
I
for the
see
first
so
time.
many
I
people
vividly
struggle with
remember,
that,
like,
right?
that's my
And so
conversation.
I think
some people can tell
it
you,
feels like the
oh
conversation
yeah,
is
she
really
did back
about
up on this, you
love.
know, so coming
It's
together.
really about, rather than
It was
about us,
beautiful
we,
to even
as human
see
beings, because all those
these
things are
ways
universal
that-
things
yeah.
that have been somehow mediated for us because of the journey of enslavement, of colonization, all those kinds of things. And I think it's how
And
do
that's
we
what
engage
and
that
was the thing
conversation.
everyone did. That's what I said.
Right?
So when you said it, I'm like,
My perspective.
yeah.
No, I appreciate that.
If someone
I appreciate
doesn't,
that.
if someone doesn't start there, it's a different.
Because there's a thing about constantly
you know, which happens.
what it means to be well, and because we know things like there's a REST project for black people, right? Sleep.
Right.
The REST project about sleeping. Like we don't get to rest, and when you think about, of course, because we're constantly
I have a group of friends
trying to figure out how we're safe in a world that is trying to harm us at the core,
and we realize,
right?
like,
And so a lot of I know where you have those conversations because so much has gotten in the way of our humanity that we're always trying to locate ourselves, right?
I think to that point, there's some
those
people
songs
said like that resonated. This
even if you
idea
weren't knowing you were gay, those songs
I'm not
were
lovable until I achieve this particular thing, and I think that's
pulling
where I'm
us
at.
together.
Like, there's this vibe that I have to sort of.
Okay, right.
I have to
And that's
do
what
school,
I'm
I have to have a certain kind of job.
I mean, and I grew up with
I have to
disco,
look
so
a
all those
particular
songs
way
were done.
to be.
So if you were sitting there talking about, I can't catch no man hanging out
Exactly.
in
To
the
be
street
able to,
outside.
and
I was like, you're like,
if
okay,
someone gives
this
me
is
love
the
or
whole thing
or
coming to get you ready. And then
try
I
to
had
demonstrate
aunt
love to me,
who I
it's
would say my
hard
aunt
for
was
me
the
to see
original
because
fag cat. She was like an auntie
There's a
maid.
belief
So she bought me music.
that
And she
something
worked,
is that
she was a
I'm
singer. So
I'm not-
very adult, like
it's
all the
worth
songs
it,
grown folks
or
did.
I'm not lovable, or I'm not
and
sure.
not the cute ones, like deep songs. So yeah. So no, man, it's no. We definitely when you talk about it, we definitely and even talking about
I know monogamous
how you want to screen it. Like, are you interested in festivals, or you want to like? I really want to talk to you about that.
I think about that, but then
Right. Well, no, it's good. Right.
Ego comes into play because I don't want.
Well, that's beautiful. You said so. There's a big dialogue right now that I think is really important, especially around smaller films, independent film community. Is does the festival scene do what you needed to do for those films?
You just say you've
Because
always
festival,
cheated?
You may get to speak. You may not get like all that kind of stuff. Versus
On camera, you're telling us you've never not cheated on camera. You're owning that.
And so I realized,
Like you like to do it with a
and some
community
people say,
thing and have it been awesome.
Not if I
Because
told
you're talking.
them.
In fact, I have a project that's a nonprofit. I always say with you, I can't talk about everything, but it's a project got to be real, and I bring Black queer cinema to Black community
I didn't say polyamorous.
because I think it's important for parents, teachers, and for everybody to have access to it. And that was the thing I did because film festivals are from film festivals.
It doesn't mean I'm not worthy. It doesn't mean it comes only through a committed anonymous relationship. The love of my life, but we're not in a committed relationship.
No, that's another thing. Let me tell you, you learn. Wait a minute, I'm gonna get Courtney Pack. Hold on, let me get some food. And because I've judged festivals, some of them films just how the fuck is this in here? But they tell you when you say, they say, look, all your films don't not make it.
You secure your stuff?
Secure the bag.
I need to go secure mine. But this conversation just got.
She said,
What? What you said?
But I'll tell you,
I would make no big deal. Plus, I don't have a buy. I realize I'm just like I'm at the hotel. When is coming? All right.
Thank you for coming in. Of course, thank you for inviting me. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I can't wait.
That's what I was
Mostly
gonna
live action, but there is animation in it. And the animation for the particular song it's in is like a callback to like the Jackson 5 cartoon. 70s.
What's the live? So you said it's live action. So it's live action. It's not just archive stuff. Okay. It's for a festival that I know the curator for, so something I'm looking for. But here you go. It's my card. But I'm going to be there later today.
So tell us again, just because it caught a film. So what's coming? Your film is called?
My film is called The Tweetations Review. And it's a musical fantasy, a celebration of Black music, style, and performance. And it's all told through a world of birds. And it's all original music, 21 minutes long.
The Toronto one.
It's a celebration of Black music, looking at genre, expression, wardrobe, makeup. It's a variety show, and it's really a look through decades.
The ballroom, which is
and looking at nature.
what we're doing and trying to understand.
Sorry, I'm screwing it up. Looking to nature as inspiration, right? How has nature influenced culture? How has nature impacted Black people?
I mean, and a few things.
Do we look to nature for inspiration? Absolutely. It's in music, it's in art, it's in myth. So this film, as far as I'm concerned, does all that. And I want people to
I hate the networking thing.
to think about nature through popular
when
music,
you put people together,
through Black music,
and here,
right? Like
and then I'm also
maybe we can have more
artists,
people of
spaces
color
like you
in
need
ornithology, natural sciences,
do a thing,
right?
and have
Like
RFP,
maybe we can get more people
do whatever,
interested in going
or
for
whatever
walks,
the case. So-
learning about birds, learning about a diversity
Well, then it's always right. Yeah, it's always so it's not,
cultures,
yeah.
right? Because birds exist globally. So
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I
yeah.
really hope the film does all of this. That's the goal, really, is to
And that's what I'm
touch on all of these matters while being joyful and entertaining. Speak to human themes, but do it in a way that's camp, queer, Black. So yeah, I'm really proud of this film, The Tweetations Review, and hopefully it can become a movie someday. Hopefully it can become a touring musical. Hopefully we can put it in a park and have people come together, just like they do for Blockorama or just any event that celebrates music and culture and expression and history.
I think
So
the way we're it's funny.
Hopefully
we're in
soon
a culture now
we
where
can share that.
communicate
And
more
you,
than ever before.
as a filmmaker, is
but
letting everybody know
nobody
it's
knows
amazing.
anything.
It's so good.
It's
really good. It's really good. I'm really proud of it.
Part of it is
It's all original music,
how does it
and
make sense to create a resource channel,
you know,
whatever that
we
looks
pulled
like.
from the source,
I
right?
think it's fleet.
Soul music, R&B, hip hop, like
And what, so, I mean, you know, I think
all
we'll
black
talk-
music. It's taken us to this
Soca,
point.
reggae, calypso,
I mean,
jazz,
yes,
Afrobeat,
all that.
high life, hip
work
life.
together on so. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like the SGL.
But I'm like, oh, there's no soca in it. But that inspired. But black music in general, right?
Right.
Inspires collectively what we enjoy and how we express ourselves. So yes, whether the film has a soca song doesn't matter. It is a celebration of black music and all expressions of black music and culture.
Well, see, now you're on film, you're on records. People are going to be like, okay, we want to see that film.
Soon, very soon. It's done. So this fall, hopefully, I can start showing.
And again, so then that's where you get to work.
Brilliant. And your name
But then
is?
if you
Fraser
see,
Collins.
oh shit, it's work happening.
Look for his work, eh?
My scene, so no, this was and not everybody having to be a filmmaker. You know, it's really important because we're still all, I mean, you know, we storytellers. And what does that look like? Or folks who can inform what stories are, you know, that will help them if they're being told. I was like, oh, it was a lot happening today. I'm good. I had a couple of mimosas. I had my cake. Be all right.
You had a couple.
Yeah, well, you know.
Right.
Sugar bumps. You know, then you get, you know, our country. That's why you ain't getting no, you ain't get your mimosa. Right.
All right. That's a lot. You got a flavor. What are we calling this?
Gathering. What's this gathering called?
It was called Black LGBTQ / SGL filmmakers.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Filmmakers, thank you so much.
We appreciate it. You're going to work. All right. All right. Tristan and my girl.
Nancy.
Right.